Hello and welcome to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. This is our Week 13 Dream Lineups and Preview. I am your co-host Josh, one of the three hosts here, and one of them is actually disembodied, as I can't speak English apparently.
The spooky ghost.
Yeah, and Ethan unfortunately has had a technical issue, which has kind of been our MO this
Story of our life.
yeah, the story of this season is technical issue, and oh, wait for it, one more technical issue. So Ethan's going to be our God mode voice today. But we have a fun.
Or as writing voice of God.
So we have a fun episode to talk to you guys about. And before we get into our dream lineups, not going to say anything here, but this is going to be one of my most anticipated fantasy matchups in our league this year, and it's I'm going up against Ryan, who has lied to all of our faces saying he's rebuilding.
Lies.
Yeah, what a liar.
I thought, okay, so I don't know why, but my team decided as soon as I said, I'm going to punt for this year, I'm done. I'm playing for, a top draft pick next year. Then my team just decides to go, psych, we're actually wanting to win this year. And I'm like, oh crap. Okay, well, I'll ride you guys as far as you'll take me. So let's just go with this.
Yeah, it says the one who got lucky with Ramondre, Tony Pollard, obviously.
No joke, those two are the ones that have gotten me to where I am right now.
Breece Hall was also as advertised if he didn't get hurt, but the fact that you had your depth there.
Yeah, and they saved me because not only did they just show up and get me a couple of points, they started going off. Like as soon as I lost Breece Hall and I traded away Josh Jacobs, Ramondre Stevenson took over that backfield and started being an RB1. And Tony Pollard started taking over that backfield and becoming an RB1 or a low end RB2 or a high end RB2. Both of them just have gone off the last couple of weeks, and I'm just riding them pretty much.
Yeah, and not to mention, CeeDee Lamb has come into his own.
Yeah,
CeeDee
Lamb with Dak coming back.
Yeah,
and with Sun God getting
healthier,
uninjured.
basically.
Yeah, getting healthier, and then Jamar Chase coming back this week. I'm hoping to get a full squad.
Yeah, this is by far going to be, I think, my toughest matchup of the year, because now your team's in full force, and I'm really banking on a lot of like my mainstays to stay my mainstays. But
thanks, Josh. And I want to say
you've had to sit it out every time you played me this season.
I want to say, I one thing I am really excited about my team. It's something that I've been waiting for since the beginning of last year. But Trevor Lawrence, actually looking like a QB1.
And look what happens when you stick by your top draft pick.
Exactly. I'm very excited at what he's done over the last couple of weeks.
Oh, dude, here's the thing. Like, as much as I'm upset the Ravens lost, that last drive, dude, like Lawrence was just insane. That was an insane ball. Like, that's where it was like, you know what? I can't get mad, but because this man is completing a 3rd and 21, perfect pass down the sideline, another perfect pass down the sideline for a touchdown, and just with timing, anticipation, but he was super aggressive, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. I think Trevor Lawrence is definitely a QB1 next year. I think it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, he's developing pretty well. A lot better than I thought he would. So,
yeah,
I was anticipating, next year him being a good fill-in QB when I needed him to be. But hey, I mean,
future's looking real bright for you, considering you have Burrow and Trevor Lawrence.
Burrow and Lawrence and a whole gaggle of running backs.
Yeah.
My gosh. So
It-
I just need another
Oh,
probably low end RB2 or not RB, wide receiver 2, and I need Pitts to actually show up and do something
yeah,
next year.
that's
So
so that's
I told you, Pitts is done for the year.
Pitts is done
yeah, but
for the year. Yeah, we just got that notification. What, today or yesterday?
I want to say yesterday,
Yesterday.
but it was kind of like it
I
was
don't know. I've
heard,
been
but it
sick the
was
last 2 days, so it's
it
all a
it
blur to me.
was. I mean, that was something where it's kind of like finally you have an outside reason not to start him.
Yeah.
But it's just been so it's just that's been painful. And I mean, there's definitely a question I want to bring up to you, guys, later, but after we talk about our dream lineups. But actually, let's get right into it. So week 13, I think we have the Panthers and one more team on bye. Arizona. Thank you, God, Ethan. Um, but
I like
these are the
Kenny.
only two teams on bye this week. So that we have a lot of games to kind of go through, a lot of players that are in contention for our dream lineups. Ethan, let's start with you. Who is your quarterback this week?
I got Patrick Mahomes.
I thought I was going to be the only one.
Listen, I'm the one with the great ideas here, and he's playing Cincinnati, and their pass defense has been pretty dreadful this season.
Yeah.
Well, and to me, this is also a revenge game factor that I put into it, since Cincy is the one that knocked them out last year. And I honestly, to be honest with you, Mahomes should be MVP this year. Like he has
He's
just been
definitely
insanely good.
killed it.
Like he's been exactly what we all thought they were, like, not thought, because I basically said, I remember in the offseason I was like, all right, buy low in Mahomes, things could get really interesting this year. And nope, it's been the exact opposite. He's been as good as advertised. Actually, I'd stand corrected. He's been better than advertised. Like he is becoming a weapon unto himself.
I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I I think I still have Josh Allen over him as of right now, personally, but he's been very good.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
I can see that. And Josh Allen has also just been equally as good, which that's crazy to say. But in back-to-back years, you get a Josh Allen, you get a Patrick Mahomes, you get a Lamar Jackson, and then the year after there's a Kyler. So like quarterback's been very good over the last few years. So mine was Mahomes as well. Ryan, who was your quarterback this week?
Mine is Jalen Hurts against Tennessee.
Ooh.
So
Bold take.
yeah, bold take. I know. He's just been so effective in the run game the last couple of weeks. I think he just keeps it up, and it's just a solid play. So
I like that pick. I mean, especially after last week, that was insane.
yeah, I mean that's where he gets a majority of his points is with his legs,
Surprise,
and
and
that's respect.
that was
Man.
the most in a while too for
Yeah.
for Hertz. Like it was a lot of his arm, but
Yeah, it was
luckily
157 yards.
yeah, and like half of it was first drive, which is pretty crazy. All right, on to running backs. Ethan, who's your first person?
RB1 is the RB1 himself, Mr. Josh Jacobs.
I technically have him in my RB2 spot, but yeah, I have Josh Jacobs as well.
So all three
Now-
of us have Josh Jacobs.
Yes.
Yes, but let me tell you why. This isn't because of a 60-point performance, even though that doesn't hurt. It's also against the Chargers' run defense, which
Yes.
is by
Yes.
far the worst.
It doesn't hurt.
I think look, if you I'm not gonna say he's fired, but I'm not gonna say his job secure. The fact that Brandon Staley's a defensive coach and he has one of the worst run defenses right now, I do think that's a cause for concern. It's something I'm keeping my eye on. I still think Brandon Staley's a very good coach. He's been very aggressive, and I think he's definitely at least given a bravado to the Chargers, which is something that they haven't had in almost ever. So, but I do find that the fact that he has one of the worst run defenses in the league, considering he is a defensive coach, does not bode well.
Give him the axe.
Wow.
I'd say give him one more year to get.
I definitely give one more year. This year's just been awful when it comes to injuries.
Because he's only been. This is his second year as a head coach.
Yeah.
So
I'd
give him another year.
Yeah, and he was very close to the playoffs last year. But yeah, I mean Josh Jacobs, Vegas has won 2 years. Yeah, shout out the Raiders. They've won 2 in a row. And Josh Jacobs is a heavy part of that.
Yeah.
Josh,
granted it was against Denver in week 11, but I mean it was a hard fought battle.
But then they bought Seattle. When they beat Seattle, man, I don't know. Yeah. That's pretty defining.
Yeah, that one is like, okay, it's not just dangerous. It's like, okay, now they're figuring it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing that we didn't expect to take so long, but it is McDaniel's system. And on top of that, the defense has played a lot better. So,
yeah.
And considering that's just a mismatch all the way around because you have a lot of Seattle cover 3 guys. And now they're playing a completely different system. So it's just taken a lot to figure things out, but it looks like they finally have. All right, guys. So, who is your other running back? Oh, what are you gonna say, Ryan?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, him being on coming off of a 60-point game, it's great. But honestly, I'm looking at like the last 3 weeks. Really, he's been up above 26 points, and that consistency is encouraging. Especially from, owners, Josh Jacobs, like I know I look for consistency, and to see him put up RB1 numbers for multiple weeks is very encouraging. So that's why I picked him.
But, he's only had one clunker. So
yeah, really, that's about it since week 4.
Yeah,
like
since
he put up
4.
a respectable number against Jacksonville. I mean, he did only get 15 points, but yeah, it wasn't bad.
15?
15. From your RB1, you definitely need more than that.
Oh, but yeah, fair.
But all right, so my second one is CMC against Miami.
Ooh, I'm very happy about this pick.
Yeah. I think they're going to be relying on him in the passing game a lot against Miami.
And I feel like the passing game is going to keep him healthier too, especially with the Elijah Mitchell injury. But now that Elijah Mitchell's out, and we keep thinking, who's the backup running back for the 49ers? There's a non-zero chance Debo's the backup running back.
Ooh, that's a boon for Debo.
Which doesn't help I just traded.
But Debo has been the greatest disappointments this season.
I think part of it has just been the Holden. And I think that's what's getting people more than anything. That's been the big case. And then on top of that, Garoppolo just wasn't even at training camp. He was just kind of healing on his own. And then week 2, it's like, hey, want to jump in there for a quick second? So it's just been a lot of transition with San Francisco. But I do think full training camp next year with Trey Lance, I think things do get better. But I like that pick of CMC, to be quite honest with you.
Well, it does help to fit in the offseason too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was that.
Who is the backup with Elijah Mitchell out?
So we're looking at Jordan Mason, Tyrion Davis-Price. What's crazy is that they banked on Elijah Mitchell being healthy, which is why they traded Jeff Wilson, and that was
which is why they traded him.
And then Elijah Mitchell said, "Hold my
knee.
Beer.
Hold my beer. I'm gonna get injured again."
which stinks because he's a really good talent.
Fantasy finally thinking Elijah Mitchell's gonna be healthy. Elijah Mitchell looking at the IR report. Want to see me do it again?
One like and I'll do it. So my
One like
running
and I'll
back.
do it. You thought about it. I'm doing it.
So my running back is Derrick Henry. I think I don't know if Jordan Davis is
Okay.
coming back, but if there's any way to beat Philly, it's running the ball, and this is going to be a slugfest, like 20-17 kind of
Yeah.
game.
It's going to
Run
be
the damn ball.
controlling the game.
Yeah.
You got to control
like
the
it.
clock. You got to control the game against them.
Yep, absolutely. Ethan, who's your running back?
I gotta go with Eccles. That's my guy.
All right.
Eccles is a good pick.
Good old
So I mean, the
Eccles.
matchup isn't great, but it's not bad. So
Well,
it's just about how much they use them.
Well, I think they're going to use them a lot because they just don't have a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So receivers. Ryan, who's your first receiver?
Mine is the comeback kid, Jamar Chase, number one.
Okay. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
I think he's going to come back, and yeah, this is going to be a tear for him. So.
Yeah. The only reason I didn't put any Bengals receivers in is because if there's any place that I think the Chiefs have actually improved the most is their pass rush. And I think that's going to be our true test for the Bengals, if that O-line's good or not. It's going to be this week.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, Ethan, who you got?
I've got JJ as my wide receiver one.
Ooh, it's going to be JJ against Sauce this week. That's going to be a fun matchup.
Yeah, that's going to be
JJ is going to win. Let me just break that one down right now for you.
I think JJ is going to be Sauce's toughest matchup of the year, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I would say it's that way over Diggs as well, because you're not seeing Diggs, who is actually my receiver pick. Diggs loves staying in the intermediate short range. JJ can go deep. And I think that's where it's going to have to be a full attentive game for Sauce this week.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
He's going to get a baptism.
So our wide receiver 2, I think, is going to be vastly different. So Ethan, who's your wide receiver 2?
I've got CD Lamb.
Ah, man. Okay. I went away from CD.
Yeah, I picked CD.
Ryan, you homer.
I picked Scary Terry.
What? I like my wide receivers.
So the only reason I picked Scary Terry is because if there's anything that the Giants do, it's man. And if there's been any coverage Terry's been really good at this year, it's been man. And Heineke will actually throw it to him. So I think you might get it's either against Adoree Jackson or I don't remember the other guy, but I'm taking Terry in both cases.
All right.
Fair enough. Can I say one quick thing? Don't look now, but Michael Pittman.
That is true. No, and
Yeah.
I mean, he had a good week last week, and just taking time. For some reason, Matt Ryan just does not trust the O-line. If there was any indication from the Monday night game.
Well, when he's been sacked as many times as he has and basically beaten within an inch of his life, yeah.
Yeah, and Michael Pittman, for all the struggles so far in PPR, is wide receiver 14. So it's not like he's fell off the face of the earth. It's just been.
It felt like
it
there for a while,
especially with Ellinger, and I think that's where things definitely.
Yeah, Those were dark days.
Yeah, those were very dark days.
Those were dark days.
So guys, who is your tight end this week?
I mean,
there's only one answer. I don't even know.
Yeah, there's really only one.
Yeah, there's only one answer.
It's man, that's crazy. I feel like if anything, the tight end position has gone back a few years.
I mean, this is
yeah,
a lot.
unfortunately.
Right
yeah, it's a lot. Like if you have Kelsey, you're set.
Yeah.
The only option I'll bring up, because I am just like throwing darts right now, just trying to see what will stick. I think Njoku versus Houston could be interesting. But the pick is Kelsey.
Yeah. I mean, the dude has 12 touchdowns through 12 games.
Yeah.
And almost 1,000 yards receiving.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
But you want what's even crazier? Travis Kelsey right now is obviously tight end 1. Tight end 2 is Mark Andrews, who has 100 points less than Kelsey.
Yeah.
Like it is such an advantage.
And Kelsey would also be wide receiver 5.
Yeah, that's disgusting. That if you think of it that way, that's crazy. Insane. That's actually nuts. Crazy.
And running back 7.
Oh my god. Dude, I think Travis Kelsey might be fantasy MVP this year out of scarcity.
Oh, he's gotta be. Just for how bad tight ends have been this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't have Pitts in his 1,000-yard season. We didn't have Mandrews. I mean, Mandrews kind of
fell off a bit.
Dropped off
a little bit. Last year, you had Mandrews, who was a 1,000-yard receiver, 9 touchdowns. Yeah. Kelsey, who was a 1,000-yard receiver, 9 touchdowns. Dalton Schultz, who was almost a 1,000-yard receiver, 8 touchdowns. Yeah. Kittle, who was almost a 1,000-yard receiver, 6 touchdowns. Obviously, Pitts. And then you had Ertz. After that, he was pretty decent, and Gronk.
But like the tight ends have been like crazy terrible this year. Like,
I think part of that is expectations, because we all expected Pitts to go for the spot. We all expected Mandrews to be better, and it's like, and everyone was excited.
We all expected Hawkinson to be good and Goddard to be.
Which I think Hawkinson
has been
quietly tight end 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hawkinson. I would even put him next year up there, kind of rivaling Pitts next year.
Rivaling Pitts and Kittle. I think that's your top 5 is
the 3rd spot.
I think your top 5 is going to be Kelsey, Andrews, Hawkinson, Pitts, and Kittle, with Schultz, like Dalton Schultz right there too.
Yeah,
and Goddard
if he gets re-signed. Goddard, I'd say would be up there. But nobody else other than Kelsey has been producing like consistently and as much.
Yeah, so if you tried to be smart and zig from Kelsey, that was not the greatest move when it comes to redraft. All right, guys. So we're just going to go 2 at a time for the flexes. Ryan, who are your flexes?
My flexes are Jamal Williams versus Jacksonville and George Pickens versus Atlanta.
Ooh, I like both those choices.
All right, what was the second one?
Pickens
versus Atlanta. Dang. He's been quietly putting up decent flex numbers the last 3 weeks.
And he should have, and he dropped a touchdown.
Yeah.
In Monday night, he should have been way better when it comes to the ranking. But yeah, he's clearly the number 1 for that team. My 2 flexes are Garrett Wilson and Chris Godwin.
Garrett Wilson, all right.
Yeah, and the thing is, and maybe I should probably start this with clarification. When I talk about the Jets situation, especially with Zach Wilson, I probably should have also mentioned I still think Mike White played a really good game and took advantage of the opportunity. So props to you. None of my hate towards Mike White is on Mike White. It's how the Jets have handled the situation. That's my disclaimer, everybody. But I do think if this game even gets ugly, Mike White, they will still let Mike White sling it. So I still think Garrett Wilson's going to have a good game.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that was a good pick.
Ethan, who are your 2 flexes?
Chris Godwin. That is my flex 1. My flex 2, I'm gonna have to sub because you won't accept it.
Is Chris Godwin worth a flex?
Yes.
The only reason I say yes this
so?
year is because is because of the injury.
Okay.
So he was drafted in that flex territory.
Okay. I get it. Okay.
Oh,
go ahead. What was your other one?
I'm gonna sub it. I'm gonna sub my other one and say Christian Watson. Let's go down the rookie train.
Ooh.
Interesting.
The last place fantasy top receiver, Christian Watson.
On the big board.
On the big
top receiver on the big board, yeah. That we all thought would be a huge hit this year.
And look at him go.
Kind of crapped out the first couple of games, but I mean, look at what he's been doing since.
Yeah. But injuries in FCS, which we also did mention that it might take some time for him to get adjusted to the NFL.
Yeah, of course. But I mean,
we did save face.
I didn't expect 9 games.
That is
to really.
It took he took his time. He really took his time.
Listen, Aaron Rodgers really tried to ruin him. Aaron Rodgers did everything he could to ruin that kid.
But you know what's just really like awesome about this?
That Aaron Rodgers
how many catches it has taken him to acquire 80, I think it's 83 points.
Where is he? I'm trying. Oh, sorry.
Maybe 12 catches. 12 catches for 83 points.
Jeez.
That's how many. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. And he's only had 34 targets this year.
Yeah.
So, granted, his touchdown rate's insane right now, which scares me a little bit, but I'll take it with what's been happening.
And that's that's in the last 3 weeks is 84 points.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
All right. So who's our defense? Because I feel like this should be the same answer.
The Cowboys.
Oh, it's not the same answer. I have Seattle.
I have Seattle versus the
Rams. Yeah, so Ryan and I are on the same page at least.
Yeah.
Well, it's Cowboys against Indy, though. They're going to get sack heaven against Matt Ryan.
Maybe.
Maybe.
What do you mean, mate? Have you
probably,
not watched play football?
I'm not discounting it. I'm saying the Rams are so beat up, they could be the second team. They could be the practice squad out there.
Yeah. They are the practice
it's
squad.
Seattle versus the practice squad.
They're the bench warmers.
So
exactly. Like I'm not saying that your matchup is crap. I'm saying that Seattle versus the Rams is almost unfair right now.
You guys want to know something crazy? Detroit has the 3rd pick in the draft as of right now because of the Rams.
God.
So literally, and this is going to actually this is my fear for next year. How on earth will the Rams restock?
They're going to be bad.
It has to be free agency.
It's going to have to be free agency and getting lucky with a mid round. But like this is where I'm also looking is like, do you trade Jalen Ramsey? Do you do a bunch of crazy other like trades just to regain that capital?
Man, I don't know.
I mean, they do need to start selling, and like getting what value they can.
Sell!
No! Sell Jalen Ramsey, please! Vikings. There you go. I mean, hey, we need secondary help.
Yeah, that's true. So, before we go, actually, we have quite a few things. So, any waiver players you guys are looking at, because now it's kind of slim pickings. Your trade deadline's probably gone.
Yes. Pick up Mike White just in case this guy isn't just a one-hit wonder.
No, it's
And
Zay Jones
pick up Richie James.
Mike
Giants
White
don't have anyone else.
So I got Mike White as one of them. Another one, if you haven't picked him up already, is Traylon Burks. And then another one actually I have is on the Jets, Zonovan Knight. Because Michael Carter did get hurt. James Robinson was a healthy scratch. So the ball was literally given to Zonovan Knight, and he did very well.
He showed up.
Yeah. So I think that one could be at least a 1 week start.
Maybe Benny Snell too, if Najee's out.
Yeah, so Benny Snell or Jalen Warren, because I think Jalen Warren was just given an okay. Yeah. But that I do agree with that pick.
Snell looked really good against Indy.
He really did. Like he definitely had a different burst. But I would also say I was really impressed by Anthony McFarland of the Steelers. And obviously he's a spell back. He's not going to be a workhorse back, but he had a different burst compared to everyone else.
Oh, boys, big news. It's week 13. Do you know what that means?
Nope.
It is now officially Deshaun Watson season.
That's
against
right. Against Houston. Oh, against Houston.
If there's any game I want Houston to win.
Y'all you'll hear this from me. Probably not from either of these two guys, because I don't think they have the cojones to say it. Get rid of Chubb. Get rid of Chubb.
Oh.
Get rid of Chubb.
Ooh.
Because I think he is going to be a major loser in this this trade for Deshaun that they made.
Because Cleveland has to basically prove
sell.
Yeah. Ooh.
And if you have Amari Cooper or DPJ, buy.
So here's what sucks is that the trade deadline's passed for a lot of people. So that's where it's like, oh boy.
Tell your commissioner to collude and extend the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Ethan, are you asking that for a friend?
Yeah, Ryan, ask him for a friend.
Sorry, buddy, can't do it.
But yeah.
Well, you are a terrible commissioner in the first place, so that's understandable.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. Boy, I have heard some stories the last couple days. Not about Ryan, but some other ones.
I was like, what have you heard? What have I done?
But I do want to actually give you guys, I have a couple questions to ask you, just kind of rapid fire here.
Wait a minute. No, what stories have you heard? What have I done?
No, it's nothing that you've done. It's people that I don't know. It's always the ones that you look like in the comments and just read the stories and you're just like,
okay.
Oh.
Well, before you got your questions, you want to do your bust sleeper lock?
Yes, yeah, let's do bust sleeper lock. Holy cow. I completely forgot.
Sorry, I saw it on my list of things to do today.
I have my bust. It's Josh's entire team when he plays Ryan this week.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that.
I wouldn't, especially since CMC's in Ryan's dream lineup. That would be much appreciated if that's not true.
But Ryan, do you want to take the L in your dream lineup or the L in fantasy?
Oh, take the L in my dream lineup.
Exactly.
I'm here to get trophies. So that's how I do it.
You're about to get a toilet bowl trophy if you're not careful. Actually, I stand corrected.
You mean the health.
The health. Yes, the health. Oh no.
You're already calling it that. Oh my gosh.
Dude, what makes it worse is that he has pretty much wide receiver 1.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Poor Diggs, wasted on the health.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
But his team is just not great.
Look, we're all going to fund the health award, right?
Yes.
We will.
Well, he sold out for Swift, and Swift said, nah.
Oh, he sold out.
Yeah.
Full on sold out.
Yeah. So Swift is actually going to be in one of my questions here, but let's go bust sleeper lock. Guys, who's your bust? Ethan,
JT versus Dallas.
I was about to say I got JT as well.
Yep, JT versus Dallas. I don't think that Dallas defense does good things for JT.
Yeah, and that
He
O
was
line
yours.
hasn't been as good. Ethan, who's your bust?
Mhm.
And it's not my team. Not counting that answer.
I think I'm gonna go with Miles Sanders against Tennessee.
Okay.
Ooh,
Alright.
okay. I that's a very, very fair choice right there.
Okay.
All right.
So your bus was JT. Josh.
Yeah, my bus is JT
Okay.
as well.
All right. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't skipping over yet.
Yeah.
What's your sleeper?
So sleeper is actually not on my dream lineup, but I think it's someone that could get very interesting, and that's Brandon Ayuk.
Ooh, I like that
Okay.
one.
Okay.
You know, I'm a big Brandon Ayuk fan, so I
Dude,
appreciated that.
same here. Wide receiver 17 this year.
Okay. Is that why you traded him away, Josh? Why do we have to keep having the circular argument that you are not believing?
I didn't trade Ayuk away. How many times I gotta tell you? I traded Kittle away.
No, not in our league, in the other leagues. In the other leagues where you're a non-believing
leagues?
swine.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, okay, hold on. I can explain that one. I was stuck with an impossible situation.
I don't want to hear your excuses.
Yeah, no excuses, Josh. Come on.
I literally had no one to play at running back because I dealt with that many injuries. I had Swift and Javante at the same time. Doesn't
All
help.
I'm hearing is excuses.
Y'all can suck it.
I've
been an Ayuk supporter.
You make me physically ill.
All right. So my
Says the-
sleeper is Rashad White.
Ooh, I like that pick. I like that pick a lot.
So I think he's taken over for
Lenny.
He's taken over for Lenny. I think
they need to take Lenny
he
out
taking
back.
over the backfield? Like Lenny's out for this week?
That's what I'm hearing.
I don't think I've heard any reports on it.
I'll double check through sleeper right now.
That's what I've been hearing, at least, unless something has changed as of recently.
Well, let's hope.
Wishing and hoping.
Yeah. Haven't seen anything on nothing on Fournette yet, but he is on the injury report.
I'm still keeping Rashad White because they're going with the hot hand.
Yeah, and it's been
Rashad White is definitely the hot hand right now. All right. Ethan, what's your sleeper?
My sleeper is a man that I have never wavered in my faith for, and I'm a very big fan since his days in college. Josh, you know who I'm talking about.
I think I know who this person is.
Name him.
Frank Gore.
Junior. No, Ethan, you gotta say it. You gotta say it.
Well, you know who I'm talking about.
I think I'm not certain.
It is Mr. Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Oh, DPJ. Okay.
I like that pick.
All right.
DPJ.
That's a deep sleeper.
All the way.
All right. So, all right, Josh, what is your lock for this week?
It's Josh Jacobs.
Really?
Boo.
Yes.
Okay. I went and did a tight end. And I guess you guys can guess it. It's Kelsey.
Yeah. Manders.
I mean,
shit.
Crap.
No. Kelsey is just he's dominant, and I think he's my lock for this week.
I mean,
I'm going.
How can he not?
Yeah. Really.
Yeah. I'm going with my dream lineup QB. I'm going with Patrick Mahomes. Dude's just on fire.
I like the pick. I really like the pick.
Unless he gets injured, not to channel any bad juju or anything, but
that's a lot of bad juju you're sending his way. Come on.
I knocked on wood. It's okay.
There we go. I heard it.
Unless his brother shows up to the game, then all bets are off.
Oh,
yeah, if he starts doing TikTok dances out on the field, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and then they're going to take it out on Patrick Mahomes, so it's just not ideal for him.
It's bad juju.
Yeah. very bad juju. And
Just gotta cut 'em off from the family tree.
speaking of bad juju, actually, that brings me to one of my questions. I have two questions. One's regarding running backs. One's regarding receivers. I'm going to start with the running backs because this is the bad juju one.
Oh, I thought you were going to bring up Juju Smith-Schuster.
Nah, he's still injured.
He's still injured. We don't
let that man rest.
kick. Yeah, we don't kick men while they're down.
Yeah, Ryan, what the heck?
Yeah, you do.
What universe? Okay. Ryan must be living in the Flacco-verse right now. But
I remember those days.
I want yeah, I don't know if you want to remember him. But I do want to bring up running backs because I do think we're in a weird transition area. We obviously know the top running backs, but who do you think are our top supposed RB1s that will fall off next year?
Oh, shoot, man.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry's one I've been thinking about because I do think you've been slowly seeing it this year. Aaron Jones, I definitely think is another. Nick Chubb, we've already said.
Joe Mixon.
Oh, we really think Mixon?
Mixon. You're already seeing it this year.
All right, that's a good point. Good point. I'll give you that.
And with how many good running backs are coming in next year?
I have no clue.
Jamal Williams.
Well, yeah, Jamal Williams for sure, but I wasn't counting him as a top running back. But Swift is obviously one. But that's already kind of happened. Monty.
Man, I see Morris coming back.
You see who's coming back?
Swift.
Yeah, he's gonna come back.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think who else. Singletary, I think is going to be interesting, but I'm not willing to say he drops off.
I think Swift might end up taking a chunk, or not Swift. Cook might end up taking a chunk of the backfield.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm curious to see what happens. I'm also curious to see what on earth happens to the Ravens backfield next year. Not that I don't think there's going to be any change.
Lamar Jackson.
True.
Coach, you want me to what?
Okay, so I have a question, and this may be something for the off season. Maybe we can discuss it then. Okay. Because it'll be a little more fleshed out. But I have both of these guys on my team in my IR. But Javonte Williams and Breece Hall. Obviously, I think Breece Hall comes back and takes back that backfield. But Javonte Williams is a little bit more of a question mark for me.
I love it how it took a few more weeks to get Melvin Gordon cut, and that was everyone's fear in the beginning.
And I think that was inevitable. I think that was coming.
Yeah.
Even if Javonte Williams was there.
My bigger fear with Javonte is Russell Wilson.
See, I don't know. I think he still gets work.
I don't know. I think Russell will be better next year, though.
I think the only reason I don't know is because this year has gone, I don't see a way up from this year. Because I'm curious to Denver's one of the weird teams where I want to see who jumps ship. Does Judy say, I'm out, see ya? Does Cortland Sutton say, go, I'm out, see ya? Javonte might just be stuck with the rehab, but we could be seeing either they're going to double down and make it work, or we're seeing a very different team next year. I don't think there's an in-between. And it really does depend on how everyone views Russ.
Yeah, and I think Javonte Williams definitely has his job secured there. I just don't know what he's going to be next year.
I think he'll be
RB1.
I'm going to say RB2 because I think it's going to take him half the season to get into it.
Yeah.
So in redraft, I go 6th round.
Interesting.
It's just because ACLs and running backs, they just take way longer than you think.
Yeah. But anyways, back on track. Your wide receiver question.
My wide receiver question. Re-rank the rookie wide receivers based on 12 weeks of play.
Ooh.
Because I think this is interesting. I mean, let's start with this. Who's number 1?
I'd say Olave right now.
I would have
I'd say
Olave as well.
First. Christian Watson is turning into probably he's fighting for number 2 with Garrett Wilson for me.
Yeah,
I would still pick Garrett Wilson over Olave.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, we're right back to.
Are you sure? Like long term?
Long term, 100%. Yeah.
Long term, actually. So Ethan's onto something, and he and I talked about it weeks ago, and it's because there's a major transitioning happening for New Orleans, and you're gonna have to just like wait it out. But that may come
he's also
sooner
a rookie, and he's got plenty of time. You can sit on him. And who knows, with this transition, he may benefit from that transition.
My thing is, I think Olave is 1 because Garrett Wilson is in a run-first team.
Yeah. And they get Breece Hall back. They're going
exactly. So that's why I have Olave 1, Garrett 2.
Okay.
The question is who's 3? Because in the beginning of the year, I was going to say Dotson.
I say Pickens.
Yeah, I would say Pickens too.
Pickens and then
London.
Dotson. London just hasn't really done anything. I think next year.
I also blame Mariota for that. But I think.
Of course. Yeah.
No, it's 100% Mariota's fault.
It is. But what I'm saying is their performance this year compared to what it may be next year. We don't really know what's going to happen next year. But I think London takes off next year.
But you would have London lower this year.
This year, yeah.
Well, it depends on what we're talking about. Are we talking about this year or are we talking about long term? Because if we're talking long term, I have Garrett Wilson, Olave, London, Watson, Pickens, Dotson.
Okay, well, you know what? Do you guys want to do? You want to do 2 separate lists this year? I mean, right now,
I'm fine with that.
Let's do 1 for this year, 1 for future.
Yeah.
Because this year, I think
Sky Moore was not on there at all.
Justifiably,
he's kind of dropped off.
He kind of dropped off, but he's one. I think the future's not as bright, but I think he's definitely going to be a factor next year.
Yeah,
but it's Andy Reid's system.
He's just got to wade
through.
Well, and he's just got to wade through the depth chart.
Yeah,
to get up to where he's relevant.
And now Kadarius Toney's there.
Yeah.
If his hamstrings could ever get in order, so I think with this year, Olave, Garrett Wilson, Pickens, and then I go London, Dotson, because London has at least played more games.
Mm-hmm.
We'll wait for this QB situation. Not looking for the future.
No, we're doing this season first, and then the future.
Season. Yeah.
Okay.
Because obviously Jameson Williams, we can't really do anything.
Yeah. This season first?
Yeah, this season first.
I'd have Olave, Wilson, Watson, Pickens, London.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, I would definitely put Watson over at least Dotson. Watson probably over London. It's Pickens versus Watson is where it's getting me.
I mean, I don't even have Dotson. He hasn't done anything this year. Like
he's just gotten hurt. That's the issue with Dotson. I throw Dotson out, especially if we're going to throw Christian Watson in. Yeah. But it's Christian Watson versus Pickens for me.
I mean, Watson has just been.
Him and Love had a good
couple of weeks.
So are we all cool with it? Here's the other thing. Yeah, I was about to say, did you just mention Jordan Love, Ryan?
That was me.
Oh, that was Ethan. Jordan Love looked pretty good in the light years better.
I vote you kick Rodgers to the curb now.
I think he does get traded. I think if there is based on I mean it's possible. Based on what we saw last year, I would have said hold on to Rodgers. I do think now it's just a lot better where you're like, oh, okay, Jordan Love might have something. And so that's where I think things get interesting.
You know, surprisingly, where Rodgers would probably do well?
Where?
Atlanta.
I would not be surprised if Atlanta thinks about it.
Would they spend the money on him though?
You take pressure off. No, I mean they can't afford him right now. They could afford him next year, but you take pressure off of him, and then in the plays where Mariota fumbles the bag because he's absolute dog water, I take Aaron Rodgers to make those plays. Now, don't get it wrong. I still hate Aaron Rodgers and would absolutely loathe seeing him in a Falcons uniform, but it makes sense.
I mean, that one I can totally see. I mean, I don't think we can discount the Colts doing it again, though I do think they might just get tired of it and just be like, hey, we have to go for a rookie and at least build this thing. Atlanta's just not, they're more than one person away. So that's the only thing where I'm like, that's where I don't know. I can totally see. Actually, this is a lot tougher than I realized.
I know it's difficult
because Jacksonville got their quarterback. Tennessee has their quarterback. Colts, I definitely think are within the picture. Dolphins got their
are going to start looking too.
I could see Vikings, but I think they go for someone who's a little more raw because they know they have Cousins.
Yeah, and he can help develop them.
Which is that's where Kellen Mond worked really. I thought was a really good pick, and he just fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
No, they have Kirko Chains. You don't need anyone else.
I mean, does Tampa get into the picture?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I've
heard rumblings of New England.
I can see it. I know people are upset with Mac Jones, but you literally have a defensive coordinator running offense, which I'm pretty sure he could do that. But I mean, I would get someone else in there to help with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
But I think Mac Jones has been fine this year. It's just been a lot of like transitioning. I think Tampa's interesting to me because I don't know what they'll do. Do they try and like do the whole let's get an older QB, let's run this thing back? Or do they say financially, hey, we can't do this, we're blowing everything up?
Yeah.
Because I think it's 50-50 right now for what I think they'll do.
Because I mean the ideal spot for them would be to get a raw rookie QB and develop him under TB.
Yeah.
I mean,
it just depends on how
Brady
long,
just coach him.
Yeah, it depends on how long TB's there. Because I mean they have who's the kid from Florida?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Can't really move well. Kyle Pitts is quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm looking this up. This is going to annoy me.
Here.
Isn't it Trask?
Kyle Trask. Yes, it is.
Kyle Trask. Yes.
Ooh, good job, Ethan.
Thank you. The voice of God is here.
I mean, does New York look into it like Giants? Which I would also say
it seems like they like Danny Dimes.
I don't know. I think they're just making it work.
Maybe.
But
who knows?
I guess we can't discount the Jets.
I mean, with this newest development, yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah, which I mean, that's not what I would do. I would still give him one more year, but
yeah, give him a little more time.
But I think the Jets are stuck in a situation to where they developed way faster than they realized. And they took Zach Wilson. It's like, hey, if we develop him correctly, oh, he's going to be a superstar.
Yeah.
What you didn't expect was the team to be ready in year 2.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's like, do you forego all the plans that you had for Zach Wilson? Or do you just say, hey, we're going to roll with it and double down? And that's the question they have to answer.
Yeah.
Which, with Zach Wilson most likely being the starter next year, but who knows? Ethan, why do you still have Garrett Wilson as number 1 for your for the future?
That guy's just different. I don't know how else to put it other than that. Like, he's just different. Like, there's not really like a specific answer.
Is it just a gut feeling for you?
Yeah, it's more of like a gut feeling of like that right there is just the best wide receiver from this class going forward.
Matt, so
who is this?
Garrett Wilson.
Wilson, okay.
I think I still put Olave 1 because I still think he's been the best receiver. They're already trusting him with a heavy workload when it comes to targets. And eventually, once they get a quarterback, if there's anything Saints have been good at, they're good at drafting. So it could just be one good class and they're right back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
And I mean, one person that we have to put in here, I still believe is Jameson Williams. Because
how do you think that affects Sun God?
I don't think it does because they took Hawkinson out. Once they took Hawkinson out, that's where I went, okay. If Swift is not the running back we think he is, if he's not workhorse back, right? That opens you up once you get your quarterback in to go, you know what? I have Sun God, more of a slot guy. My boundary guy is going to be Jameson Williams. And what we've seen from Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, take those targets, that's Jameson Williams.
Okay. I could see it. And kind of a 1-2 punch at wide receiver.
Yeah, and especially since like Sun God has had
good for
him. Which, let me remind everyone, Amon-Ra, Sun God, mythology, Amon-Ra St. Brown, also a god. But we're just for
little G,
receive little G god. But he has all the intermediate routes. I think Jameson Williams is the guy that you can expect to take a deep shot every now and then. And they have the O-line. Goff has been competent. Like, I think that team's a lot closer than we think. And then the whole division is where things get interesting. Is why I have to bring it up. Packers are going to go through a massive transition. The Bears are undergoing their rebuild. The only good team right now is the Vikings. And the Lions are probably the second best team.
Yeah.
And so at least I could see for the next 3 years. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be like the AFC North where I think every team legit has talent. But I think for at least next year, I think Jameson Williams can be the surprise receiver that everyone forgot, and now he's back.
There's definitely a lot of potential there. So
yeah, so
that we'll have to see.
Yeah, so I have Olave as future 1. Ethan has Garrett Wilson as future 1. Ryan, who do you have as future 1?
I'd have to say Olave. I just like I don't know. I like him better. I think he's going to have a brighter future. So
I'm cool with that. So Olave, Garrett Wilson, that doesn't change. Ethan, who would be your third?
Future or for
Future.
just this year?
Future. For this year, we have Christian Watson in the 3 spot. Who would be for future?
London. London is 3 for the future.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Followed very closely by Pickens.
And I'm okay with that too. London and Pickens. And then now the question is it gonna like I think what's holding you back from putting Watson at 3?
Me or Ryan?
For both of you guys.
I'm putting Watson
at 3. Interesting.
I don't think he's as talented as the rest.
I don't know whether he's like as far as talent, I think London at 3 makes sense to me. I have Watson at 4 because a little bit over Pickens because I think Watson has a bit more of opportunity, and right now I think the jury is still out on Kenny Pickett. Yeah. And I think Watson's just a little bit more explosive than Pickens at the moment. Because Watson, I still think, can take a 15-yard dig route to the house.
Yeah.
I don't know if Pickens can do that.
No, he can't, but he can make the spectacular catch.
Yes.
See, it's just all about what's their thing. Like Olave and Garrett Wilson are your possession wide receivers that are fast, right? And then you got Drake London, who's just going to big body DK Metcalf everybody. And then you got Christian Watson, who's always a house call threat, right? And then you got Pickens.
It was a big body.
Yeah, who's a big body but can make the spectacular catch.
And we just talked about Jameson Williams. And right now, I mean, I feel like it's fair to put him on the outside looking in as far as the top 5 is concerned.
Because we don't really know.
Yeah, because we don't really know. But I would put him at 6 at least because, I mean, Dobbs has been good, but what we thought could be Dobbs is Watson. Dotson is interesting, but Dotson has Terry and Curtis Samuel there. And who knows what they do at quarterback. I'm trying to think of any rookie receiver that, who else? I mean, Calvin Austin, probably not going to impact much anyway.
Alec Pierce, maybe.
Yeah, Alec Pierce is the only maybe. But Velus Jones, no.
Tyquan Thornton.
Tyquan Thornton, I don't think so.
Nah, their wide receiver room is too awkward in New England.
David Bell. I know you.
No, David Bell is a loser.
In the year.
No, David Bell, unfortunately, is not gonna happen. And we even talked about Treylon Burks in this situation. Man, that throws everything off.
Well, while we get our heads together on it, I think this is a good time to end.
Yeah,
I think it's time to close. Y'all, thank you for tuning in and watching this video. And thank you for supporting our show. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video, so it helps the algorithm get it out to people. Also, if you could follow us on all of our social media, that is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at Last Place FP. Thank y'all, and have a happy week 13.
One more thing I'd like to add. Voice of Ethan, do you care to intercede real quick?
Yes, of course.
Oh my God. Every week.
Do not forget, ever, for any reason, at any time, that sometimes you're right. Sometimes you're right.
And we'll see y'all with news and injuries for week 13.